This is the Open University.
This is not the Open University. This is the Momus Open University, in which the rock minstrel of modern angst rambles, sometimes catching many fishes from other men's ditches.
Welcome to the Open University and to Prague, where we're going to have hopefully a sunny day. Temperature is about 21, 22 degrees at the maximum, and we're going to a cafe festival called The Miners, which we went to last time we came here, October 2021, just at the very tail end of the COVID years. And then we're going to an excellent second-hand clothes shop called 1981 Secondhand. The year 1981 is kind of dear to me because that's when I formed my first band, The Happy Family, with ex-members of Joseph K., who of course is named after a character by Franz Kafka, and yesterday was the centenary of the death of Franz Kafka, my favorite author of all time.
This is when you realise that such power exists here as well. This is Tick the Mole and his friends, the rabbits, the frogs, the hedgehog. Naomi's sister's fiancé says that we deliberately choose uncomfortable minimalist cafes. Do you like the word awesome?
Awesome. Full of awe now.
So here we are in the Habsburg Empire, not just Bohemia, but also the Habsburg Empire, in a cafe called The Miners. And I'm being mocked slightly by this plant above my head. And the Habsburg Empire was actually multicultural, but not multiracial. We're just noticing that it's very mono-ethnic here. Very few black or even brown faces. And mostly what I know about the Habsburg Empire is through having read about Kafka, who lived in the last days of this empire. It would have been nicer for him if they'd managed to continue with the Habsburg Empire, and then Nazism wouldn't have intervened, or possibly it wouldn't if they'd invaded. I've been reading Rainer Stark's book, 99 Facts About Kafka, which is sort of anecdotes, including the famous one that gets blogged all the time now, which is Kafka, late in his life, intervened in a sad little girl who'd lost her doll. He met in the park in Berlin, actually, when he was living in Berlin. And he sympathized with her plight so much that he made believe that her doll was still alive, and he started writing letters to the girl in the voice of the doll, saying, "I'm okay, I'm just traveling for a while, I'm going to come back, and we will be reunited." They haven't actually found, according to Stach anyway, they haven't found these letters. A researcher went specially to Berlin to try to find this stash of letters. Didn't find them, but did find Kafka's old landlady, who said that Kafka had actually come to Berlin using a pseudonym. He pretended to be a chemist called Dr. Stoenbach or something, because he was afraid that having his Jewish name would make her discriminate against him. It was already in the early 20s or the mid-20s problematical to be Jewish in Germany, despite the fact that she, the landlady, was herself partly Jewish.
It's Narnia.
Il m'a appelé gibier infernal. Je pense que c'est un problème.
So the BBC production of Narnia was filmed in the forests of Czechoslovakia as it was then. So when you enter Narnia, there's a single lamppost. What they don't mention is that there are also vines.
Should we do this?
We're playing it. We're still playing at What Would Gary Cakes Do? The vintage Czech wines, I guess, are grown here.
Look how tiny they are.
Tiny grapes.
They're the size of mustard seeds.
Okay, here's a video of me taking a picture in a shop window. Just the kind of thing I love to take. Here's like a strange clown in a bowler hat playing an accordion. So now we're going to a Korean restaurant, and we're in this district, it's kind of working class district, but it has these magical bridges in the sky.
This looks like giant eye patches. But
Giant what?
eye patches.
Eye patches.
But I think it's for removing makeup. I'm not sure.
Is it?
Maybe.
Somewhat crumbling district, which is always kind of inspiring for me, especially if it's crumbling with amazing details. Like, look at those eagles. Sort of coffin-shaped door, and then there's a couple of
Oh, yes.
Habsburg Empire winged Art Nouveau or Wiener Werkstatt eagles. This was a great Korean restaurant, and now we have culture shock because we're not in Korea when we step out. Yeah, what I like is the kind of wabi-sabi run-down quality of the buildings here, because in Germany it's well known that if the landlord does the plaster and the paintwork and everything, it means the rents are going up, and here they just don't bother. Also in Poland it's quite similar, they just don't bother.
So here we are, in the streets of the great capital, the mother of all cities, the
Yeah.
European Jewel.
I have to correct myself because I said that this was the capital of the Habsburg Empire. Not entirely incorrect, because it was from about 1581 to 1611, something like that. Dates on screen. But mostly it was Vienna, which was the capital of the Habsburg Empire. She's mocking me.
Never.
Since the last time we were here, they actually added a coffee shop, but unfortunately it's not open today. It's open not on Mondays and Tuesdays. 1981 in the cursive script that I used on my Nikki EP back in 1984. Here we go, 1981. Our favourite second-hand shop in the world, at least it was. Might just have all specialised in denim.
Stitch tock turn, pearl white, pearl seven, stitch tock, knit one, pearl white, slip one turn, pearl seven, knit tock, stitch tock turn, knit one, pearl seven, stitch tock, pearl five, slip one, knit one, knit turn, knit one, pearl five, slip one turn, pearl seven, knit tock, stitch tock turn, pearl five, pearl seven, knit one, stitch tock, knit one, pearl five, slip one turn. Stitch tock turn, knit one, pearl seven, stitch tock, pearl five, slip one, knit one, knit turn, knit one, pearl five, slip one turn, pearl seven, knit tock, stitch tock turn.
So we were slightly disappointed because we loved this shop so much last time, and it seemed to have a lot more stock last time. It was full of really delightful pieces from the 70s, sort of floral shirts and things, a bit more cute. And this time, only about half the stock that we could see last time, and maybe more denim and things like that, a bit more normal, kind of normie wear. So we didn't actually see anything we wanted to buy. This is an application called PID, and it's good for public transport. So my location to, I don't know, Wenceslas Square. So it shows all these different transport types. You can take trams. The 24 tram seems to be the best way to go. Brambori, Venice.
The new album.
It's a new one. It would have been nice if it was an old tram. Victor Vasarely metro.
Here Franz Kafka lived and walked and dreamed, and in fact one of his most interesting dreams was that he was walking in this very square. He came here to have a Starbucks coffee with Max Borg, and he was walking past this clock just at the very moment when an Audi SL 5000 plunged through the center of the clock, and this was very unusual because the car was not invented until the year 2006. So I think we'll see a similar event happening in a few seconds, because we're at the famous moment when the clock actually chimes and an Audi plunges out through the center of the clock face. It's a very interesting moment, and there we are. Here it comes. I think you'll see the Audi any minute now. It's the only car in this area because it's a pedestrianised area. And Kafka happened to be levitating about 6 meters in the air at the moment, so he was luckily out of the way of the car when it plunged through. You see there's a skeleton there. It's actually modelled on Kafka's body type. It's a asthenic reminder of death. But a miracle has occurred because no car has appeared. For the first time in 100 years, no car has appeared through the clock face.
Sí, pero de momento... ¿Tú crees que sí?
Here he is reduced to a kind of cartoon version of himself and his famous story. I was just thinking how extraordinary, how astonished he would be, a bit like Van Gogh when he said that one day his paintings would be worth more than the price of the paint that he used to paint them. That Kafka turned into a sort of Mumintroll of Prague, not just of Prague but the whole world. Actually, the Frankfurter Zeitung the other day, yesterday in fact, had a story saying that one letter by Kafka had appeared in which he simply told his publisher that he was not able to write any stories. It was in the early 20s. And this letter is expected to go for $90,000. And it was the lead story on the front page of the Frankfurter Zeitung. This is kind of the Venice part. We're actually heading to Venice after this via Vienna. Here's some more Kurteks. Kurtek is the Mumintroll, basically. Him and Kafka share the honours of being the Mumins of the Czech Republic. And of course, how could I forget the good soldier Schweik? Beer museum, beer of courses. This is what your city could be like if there were no wars to bomb it flat and no cars to scuttle around like cockroaches. More Kafka shenanigans here. Here we see the statue of Saint Ignatius the Humble, who was actually burned to death and then revived by God because he was so humble that he fell into an acid bath. Unfortunately, the alchemists in the old Prague were trying to discover the philosopher's stone to have the secret of eternal life, and they used all sorts of techniques, including acid and galvanizing metals, creating gold from base metals. And unfortunately, Saint Ignatius was greedy as well as humble, and he filled this bath with acid, having been told that this would, if you put mud and rocks into the bath, it would form solid gold. Unfortunately, as he was humping a rock in, it splashed, he got some acid in his face, he fell right into the bath. His body was dissolved right down to the skeleton. But as you can see, he was restored in stone. This is actually the actual mold that the bath created with the rocks and the stone and the acid of his body. And God did the rest.
Open University.